In today's local segment, we focus on junior hockey. So pleased to welcome to the show the coaching staff of the national tournament bound Carolina Junior Canes elite team, Brad Gaylord and CJ Sucky. Welcome, guys. Thanks for jumping on the program.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yep, thank you.
So we'll lead right in. Man, I tell you, 3 years in a row for you guys heading to this tournament. That's not a light. That's not something to make light of because that's a hard thing to do these days, especially with the way the league has grown, the number of teams that are out there, the number of competitive teams that are out there. And it really surprised me a little bit is that the talent hasn't fallen off too much. So what I'd like to kind of launch into is, given this is your third year, you're heading back there. You won it 1 year or 2 years ago. You're runners up last year. So kind of walk me through, how do you guys as a coaching staff, get the consistency, get the players running in the same direction, especially when you have new guys added to the lineup?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. It's a haul. So don't get me wrong. Going back to back to back, hopefully we go back to back to back to the actual final. But that's a grind, but kudos to the returning players that lead the way for the players that come in. And the players that we have recruited here have bought in. So kudos to them as well. So they understand what it means to be a King, the culture we have here. But we're really to tip our hat is like our off-ice training that we have here that helps us stay consistent to be able to go the long haul is very important. So our hat's got to be tipped off to Joe and his staff over at Strength Feed. We had amazing trainers with David Blue and Travis. I'm not going to say his last name because I may screw it up, but they're both beauties. And that's a huge piece. And what we have with that is something that is special. So the combination of all that and the leadership roles of the returning players, like we've had 3 guys that have been there to the national final, so they know what it takes. So that's important to have to lead the way in that locker room for the younger guys because we did go younger a little bit this year. So collectively, that's basically why it's been fairly consistent over the past 3 years.
Yeah. So CJ, you're a former player,
Right.
So a little bit of little background on you is so what is being a former player. I mean, I've coached, I've played, I've done both. I know Brad has done the same thing, but for you coming in as sort of a younger coach, how do you feel your role with the players? Is it different than, obviously it's different than Brad's, but at the same time, what is your how do you push the envelope with the guys, knowing what you bring to the table?
Yeah. My role kind of when it comes to what I provide to the boys is just maybe a friend in a way, someone they can come to. Throughout the course of 6-7 months, 44 games of playoffs, like there's a lot of highs and lows and there's a lot of ups and downs with emotions. And Brad's a pretty demanding coach. And my responsibility sometimes with these young guys, especially, is to kind of counteract their emotions and keep them, as I like to call it, riding the wave, right in between the highs and lows, and just try to be their friend. I mean, I expect a lot out of them too. I don't lose my mind as much, but yeah, I mean, like and then from the player side of things, like I played here, I know what the culture is like. And I try to bring that to the best of my ability to the coaching side to teach these kids how to be the best hockey players they can be, but also good men.
So now when you guys are heading into playoffs, I know it's a long grindy season. It's a lot of road trips, it's a lot of hotels, it's a lot of, it's a lot of stuff. Where people don't understand, really what it takes to be a hockey player. It's a lot more than just showing up on Saturday night and playing a game, putting on a uniform. There's a lot to it. But when you guys approached like the playoffs, do you coach the game differently, or do you approach the game differently when you're preparing for a tournament like the national tournament?
No, you don't. It's a quicker tournament, mind you. There's a lot of games in a short period of time, but everyone has to do that, right? So we don't change the style, the identity that we have here in Carolina. we just take our game, which is a very fast transitional game, and we play with pace. I think, again, I'm going to bring up strength. Like, we condition our players to play that kind of a game, and they know that. So any time we play, it's going north right away. So there's no way we're changing any type of our identity, how we play. It's just, you got to grind it out in a short period of time. But other than that, it's just another game. There's not really anything we change as a team at all. The only thing that we would do is adjust to the teams that we're playing, because we haven't played some of these teams. So we've done pre-scout on every single team already. They're already posted on the wall for the players to do their pre-scout. We practice against what we've seen already. We still have more to go before we leave, but that's the only difference, just kind of adjusting to the new teams that are coming our way, systems wise. But other than that, no, we go, we play Canes hockey every single night. We hit that sheet.
And you say something that, and it kind of triggered something for me. It's kind of an off topic from the list I sent over to you. And I talked to Lincoln about this too, is when you get into a tournament like that and, you have your systems, you have your you've scouted the games, you've scouted the teams you're playing. But then there comes the factor, I'll call it the X factor. It's the puck luck. It's getting a bounce here or there, getting this or that. So I asked the boys on the last week's podcast, I said, is puck luck earned or given, basically? And I mean that by, do you create your own puck luck, or is puck luck just happen by chance? And these tournaments are really, they could come down to one of those bounces that gets you to the next round or not.
Yeah, no question. And it's actually, you can jump in, but I think it's both. The harder you work, you'll earn those puck lucks. Sometimes you have an off night and they come your way too. It's just the way the game goes sometimes. But the more important part of it is, if you're against the puck luck, you got to make sure you control that bench, control that emotion, and understand how to balance those boys, because they're younger kids. They need it, right? So they need that guidance. They need that patience. They need that structure. And if you don't have that, you'll lose it, right? And then you're really in trouble. You're really behind the eight ball. So as coaches, I think we do a really good job of that, of controlling that emotion, especially here in Carolina under our umbrella. But yeah, if it goes your way, man, it's a fun night. Trust me. But if it's not, you just got to really manage your bench.
Yeah. To piggyback off that, Brad said the word control, and I think that's a big emphasis in our staff here. In my opinion, the word puck luck is an uncontrollable factor, and it just happens in the game, and you never really know which way it's going to go. But the things that you can control, and I do feel like we do a good job of this, is the emotions on the bench, the attitudes on the bench, and the effort given on the ice and on the bench, all in all. And those are controllable factors. And I think over the course of a game, if you do stay consistent and you work how you need to work hard, have a good attitude, control the emotions, after a 60-minute game, hopefully that wears off.
Yeah. So new guys, old guys, how does this team stack up against, say last year's squad? I mean, they made it to the finals. I think it was against, I think you lost against, was it Cyclones? Yeah.
No.
So how do they stack? A lot of new guys, not of old guys, old faces. How does the team balance up this year against last year?
Yeah, we have 6 returning players from last year and years before. There's only a few that are on the team that have had national championship experience. But we also brought in 2 from Northern's team last year that wanted to come to us, and we were glad to take them because of that experience, being 20-year-olds. Because it goes a long way, especially when you have a younger room that we did have this year. They have never been there before. So players of that caliber that have been there, that experience goes an awful long way in that locker room. Because when you have a locker room that understands and buys in, then you have the sheet, you have the ice. And I think we've done a really good job of that with the leadership here and the experience here. But the younger guys, I have to tip my hat to them too. They've really bought in. I went more local, which I'm really trying to express here for years to come. Believe it or not, but it's going to change. So it's a good thing here that we have going, and with the local young kids that we brought in are really bought in, and I couldn't thank them enough. And then together as a group, they're something. So hopefully we can get to that final again and go 3 years in a row. I don't know if that's been done before. I have to look it up, but that'd be such an accomplishment for this program.
Yeah, no, like I said, I've watched the program grow for many years. I mean, it's come from, not part of there's not a lot of teams in the programs that participate in the elite level or the premier. Well, it used to be called something
Yeah.
different back then, but to see you guys being able to and what makes it even more impressive this year, I think, is the age of your crew.
Mhm.
Bringing a young team like that to nationals, man, that's an accomplishment because you're playing against older kids even at the elite level, and, to get kids to buy in that age group is tough. I mean, I've coached kids that are, 17,
Right.
18 years old, and they don't listen sometimes. So, but at the same time, it's really exciting to see you guys. So, I wish you guys all the best of luck, and I'll be following it to make sure I understand where you guys are at. And feel free if you guys want to give me a call, we can get you on quick and talk about something if you want to. If not, don't worry. I know you're focused on hockey, but we're all excited for you here on the program, and wish you guys all the best of luck. So good luck, safe trip up to New Jersey, and we'll hopefully see you on the other end with another visit to the final round and hopefully bringing that jug home again.
Great. Thanks, Paul. Appreciate you having us. And hopefully we bring it home again.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Paul.
take
Thank
care,
you
guys.
much. Yep.